let's start with some questions from Annie Walker from New South Wales. So Annie has asked some questions. Here we go for the first question. She says, "Hi Helen, Happy New Year, woohoo, woohoo." And her first question is, so just to give you a bit of background, with the system that I choose, that I teach my students, my hypnotherapists, there is a lot of timeline therapy that I teach, but I teach it quite differently to the original format. I teach it in a way that it's simplified and very, very, very powerful. And so it's the foundation of the timeline therapy teachings, but quite different in the way that it's managed and how it's handled. So Annie's question is, releasing anger. I conducted my first timeline session using your methodology today. This was the client who had many, she's written many 5 times, significant negative events. It took about 1.5 hours to release the emotion of anger, and it went so well. The client was amazed. They had pages of positive learnings, like 4.5 A4 pages. Is this normal? So Annie wants to know if this is normal. It is. It absolutely is normal. So it varies. You could see from my demonstrations on my YouTube account. So I have a YouTube account called Hypnosis Business Success, where there are a number of demonstrations there. And it really does depend. So some clients have very few positive learnings. You know, it could be literally a few sentences. Other clients, like Annie's, you know, could have 5 pages. So yes, Annie, it varies. So your first one, you got a lot, and that's because he was carrying, like you said, there were a lot of events that he had to go through, which is brilliant. So well done, congratulations, and a great job. But it varies. So I would say that the average in terms of positive learnings is usually about 1.5 pages. That's the average client. But then, like I said, there are others that only have a few sentences, and there are others that have 5-6 pages. So yep, absolutely. So good job. Keep going. Well done. You're on track. All right. Next question. Quit smoking. Do you use aversion therapy for your stop smoking session? I mainly use the client's positive reinforcement, so how they want to be. Yes, for quit smoking and for any kind of addictive behavior, I do use aversions. So I think it's important. I think it's important for clients to see very clearly and to feel, that's more important, for them to feel what it would be like if they continue their addictive behavior. So, you know, if you take them down the path 1 year into the future, if they continue their addictive behavior, 5 years into the future, if they continue the addictive behavior, 10 years into the future, if they continue their addictive behavior, what's going to be the situation for them? They need to feel it. They need to feel the anguish, the heartache, and the pain of doing the same thing year after year. So a brilliant script for that, Annie, is Fork on the Road, which is in your pack that you do already have. So it's a brilliant script because what it does, it takes clients down the left path, which is the hard path, full of the pain that their addictive behavior gives them. And then they come back to the fork on the road, and then they go down the right path where, yes, it's a little bit steeper and it's a little bit harder to go down that path, but that's where all the benefits are happening. And then you describe that in their world, so that, you know, what's happening for them. So be very careful that when you do use scripts, that you are actually using the language of the clients and you're using and utilizing their world. So what is happening in their world 1 year, 5 years, 10 years down the track when they continue their, you know, addictive behavior, and what will happen instead if they make changes right now, and, you know, what is it that they want to do? And they need to feel that process all the way through. So I definitely use aversion therapy and make it as disgusting as possible for them as they go down that left path, to the point where many of them feel like throwing up at the end of the session. And I think that's a good result. Okay, so next question, rapid inductions. Do you know who offers hands-on training in New South Wales rapid inductions? It's a skill gap for me. So first of all, good on you for recognizing a skill gap. As soon as you recognize that you have a skill gap, you need to actually fill that gap up. I've always done this. So even right at the beginning, when I first started my business in May 2010, I recognized that I did not have the ability to create a successful business because I have never created a successful business before. I had worked 22 years in corporate. So I got myself a business mentor. So whenever you have a gap, don't try and work it out on your own. Someone else has done it. Someone else has already been there, done that. So make sure that you learn from them. That's the way that I do it. It's, where's my gap? Who's doing it right now? Okay, what can I learn from that person? So that's the way that I've always done it. I've never tried to do things on my own, whether it's for my emotional health, for my business, for my physical health, anything at all. So who offers rapid inductions? In my opinion, the best teacher and school for rapid inductions is Rick Collingwood's Academy. Please let him know that I sent you. And he does have teachers in New South Wales as well, but he predominantly is based in Melbourne. So a lot of people come from around Australia to attend Rick's course. So that's who I would recommend. It's well worth it. Oh, Mark Wachowski's on board. Hey, Mark, gorgeous man. Thank you for your beautiful post today. I can't believe it's 2 years. 2 years. Oh, my God. Since we had that first Zoom call when you were telling me about that you were desperate to turn your business around. I can't believe it. 2 years. And thank you for saying that I look amazing. I feel amazing. I feel invigorated. I feel relaxed. And I've got that in love feeling. So when you're in love, you feel pretty amazing as well. I'm pretty lucky. So, okay. Next question that we have is from Shell Henderson from New Zealand. Shell Henderson has booked my online programs and she will be attending the May retreat in Surfers Paradise. So very excited to see you, Shell, in Surfers Paradise, coming all the way from New Zealand in May. So, hi again, Helen. This is what Shell's email is. So, hi again, Helen. It's really impacted me when you said at your presentations that you just went for it with your hypnotherapy and always said yes. Even if you didn't know, and if you didn't know something, you found out how to do it. Absolutely. Always say yes. Always say yes. Work out the how later. You've just got to say yes. Put yourself outside the comfort zone. Mark Wachowski knows all about that. And I wanted to embrace that, so I'm running with your system and I'm learning as I'm going along. So even though she hasn't attended the live retreat, she has all the resources, all the information, all the videos, all the written content. So she's seeing clients based on the online program already, and she's got some questions. So my background is that I have a client that's 47 years old. He came for weight loss and he has long-term bad eating habits. And Mark says, yes, always say yes. Absolutely. Always say yes. So my client insists that he does not have any anger. He has suffered some major traumas in his life. He's been a police in South Africa. He's shot people. He's had home invasions. He's killed an intruder. He's been ripped off in business by his father-in-law. He says that he has forgiven and has been forgiven as he is a Christian. I feel he needs to go through the anger timeline anyway, but he's pretty strong that he's okay. Any suggestions for how to reframe this so as not to offend him? This is an excellent question. So what Shirley's saying here is that she has a client who is a Christian and has learned to forgive and has learned that he feels that he's at peace with himself and that he doesn't carry any more anger. So this is the way that I would reframe it, Shirl. What I would say is that I understand that you're not an angry person. Of course you're not. So you need to actually, be on their side, on the client's side. I understand you're not an angry person, but anger comes in many different forms. So for instance, at the very top of the anger hierarchy, we have fury. At the very bottom of the anger hierarchy, we have annoyance and frustration. So most people, do get annoyed and frustrated at issues, and that is a form of anger. So no problem at all if you don't have any, but there might still be some frustration and annoyance at the subconscious level that you're not consciously aware of. So what we'll do is we'll just get rid of that, and as soon as we've done that, we'll move on to the next emotion. So basically what you're saying is it's your standard process. This is what you do for everybody. And you say that. So this is what I do for everybody. So even people who don't present themselves with anger issues, we still need to go through this process of removing anger first. And if you don't have much there, fantastic. We just move along. So that's the way that you would present that. I hope that's been helpful, Shell. All right, next question. I don't think I presented the high-level problem very well. He touched on the fact that he doesn't think he's good enough in the answers to all his negative events in his life. That was a light bulb moment for me, but he believes his presenting problems are the higher level and says that it's all bad eating habits and lack of discipline. Do we need to revisit this? The way that I would revisit this is you've said that he's touched on the fact that he thinks he's not good enough. So the next time he infers that, say to him, so what was the high-level problem? And that will be an aha moment. So that's happened to me previously with a client where, with the people that train under my system, I explain and I give a great pre-talk in terms of how to present what the high-level problem is and the low-level problem. And for those of you who have not done my system, have a look at the webinar in the pinned post above, and that explains it all there. So have a look at the webinar. It explains all about high-level problems and low-level problems. Maureen says, good point on anger. Thanks, Helen. You're most welcome, Maureen. So, so for those of you who are not aware of what I'm talking about when we're talking about high-level problems and low-level problems, have a look at my webinar on the pinned post above, and it makes it very clear as to what that is. I explain it with a lot of examples. Okay? Hey, Vicky, good to see you, girl. Nice to see you. And so, I've had the situation before, Shell, whereby the client wasn't able to, even with all the pre-talk, come up with what their high-level problem was. And then later on, in the middle of a sentence, she said, and I'm not good enough. And I said, so what's the high-level problem? And she went, oh my God, you're good. So she realized that the high-level problem was, I'm not good enough. So make sure you don't give your clients the answers. They will never have a light bulb moment or an aha moment if you give them the answers. You have to ask the questions in such a way that they come up with the aha moment. So for those of you who have done my therapy system, in the first session, there are 27 breakthrough questions, and throughout those questions, clients will continue to have aha moment after aha moment after aha moment. I explain exactly how you do that pre-talk so that they have that aha moment. Because I have literally seen thousands of clients or different types of clients, I know exactly what to say to get the best response from the client. Okay, so I do actually teach you with every single question as to exactly how you pre-frame it. It's really